This is a press conference called on the eve of Free Nnamdi Kanu protest slated for tomorrow at the Aso Rock Villa. We are here to let people know that this action is going on as planned across the world, as a matter of fact, but the center of gravity will be Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory, where Mr. Nnamdi Kanu is currently unlawfully and unjustly detained by the the State Security Services, known as DSS. The law is very clear. Mr. Nnamdi Kanu's detention is not just illegal, it's a national disgrace. The government is disobeying its own courts and mocking the Nigerian Constitution, the 1999 Constitution that they subscribe to. Here is the truth, and what they don't want you to know is that the Court of Appeal cleared Mr. Kanu in 2022, and the charge and acquitted him. That's the final. Yet the DSS, even upon this discharge and acquittal, never released him even for a second, in disobedience of the Court of Appeal position. It was pure contempt, and it has always been their tradition to defy the rule of law that they claim they subscribe to. The Supreme Court, of course, did take over the case erroneously. They overstepped. It is a twisted justice reversing a decision that has already been taken by a court of competent jurisdiction, like the Court of Appeal, on this particular matter. But even at that, the Supreme Court did say that Mr. Kanu never violated his bail condition. It was the Nigerian army that caused the confusion. And you know that double jeopardy is also a crime. Nobody under the law should be tried for an offense for which they've been discharged and acquitted. It's known as double jeopardy. I may not be a lawyer, but I know this well enough. So also, let us let you know that the law under which Mr. Kanu is being tried is known as the Terrorism Act of 2013, which is dead and buried. You cannot try anybody under a law that does not exist. So we want to let you know that this fight is bigger than one person. It's about every Nigerian right to justice, dignity, and freedom. And when the state tramples on one man's right, it endangers all of us. Our demand, therefore, is very clear. Obey the law, enforce the acquittal, release Mr. Nnamdi Kanu now. So tomorrow we will be out there, and we want to also clarify that there is no court order issued against the protests. Of course, the police, in their anxiety and desperation, went to Federal High Court judge on Friday and asked them to stop us from visiting certain areas. In fact, they initially wanted to ask the judge to stop, but the judge vehemently denied that he cannot ask the Nigerians not to protest, exercise their fundamental human rights. So they granted a limited order. And the judge, in his number 3 order, said they must serve the defendants. They must serve the defendants by Friday. We have not been served. I only got to hear about the order through another person, and the order has lapsed because, as an ex parte order, service is the only thing that can activate an ex parte order. That has not been served. So we are going ahead tomorrow, and we will march peacefully, powerfully, and legally on the streets of Abuja. And anywhere you might be, our own position is that this must be completely peaceful protest. And we hope that at the end of the protest, common sense will prevail and will bring Mr. Nnamdi Kanu home. Thank you very much for coming. If you have any questions, please ask so that we can continue with the journey of mobilization.
Okay, the first question is that we said this is going to be a peaceful movement.
Yes, it is. It has always been a peaceful movement. Nnamdi Kanu himself, upon in the beginning of this campaign, said he believes in no violence.
Okay, in the light of the development that there was an ex parte order from the court, which you just pointed out that it has lapsed.
Yes.
Being that it's aim at achieving a peaceful movement, have you been able to reach out to the police to say, okay, this is this?
Oh yeah, we went to the police on Friday. We visited, was it Thursday? We visited the Nigeria Police Force FCT Command because they sent a letter to, they called the lawyer who had written them a letter. I accompanied the lawyer there, Barrister Maxwell Opara, who is one of the lawyers to Nnamdi Kanu, who had written a letter to them. So when I arrived there, they said I was not invited. So they apologized to me, and so, but I was there on, I think it was on Thursday, right? I went to the police command, yes. The day the new police commissioner started work was that day we arrived there. So we also want to make it clear that we've heard that the police commissioner who is newly arrived was given a marching order to be high-handed tomorrow. We just want to warn him that he's a member of Nigerian police force and not a private mercenary force of any political party or politician or special interest, and that nothing must happen to any of the protesters tomorrow. The job of the police is to protect, and anything short of that to be an international crime.
Yeah, the course of action you are taking, one may ask, why are you taking this kind of action? Bearing in mind that the case is in court, why not wait for the court to see it through?
Well, I just read to you that the case had been completed in court as far back as 2022, when the Court of Appeal ruled that his extraordinary rendition and his trial was null and void, discharged and acquitted him. What you are having now is a rigmarole, is what is referred to as double jeopardy in law. It is a crime. So if there was a case, they would have been able to conclude it in 10 years, or when they renewed it in 2021. But the position of the law and the position of the court, which has not been vacated, is that it's discharged and acquitted.
How far do you intend to see this through, assuming it's not? Until
Nnamdi Kanu is free.
I want you to equally react to one doctor, a member of the NMA, that questioned the legality, the authenticity, and the right of the NMA to actually side with the government and then write a report in such a manner. What's your opinion?
The NMA in this case is a disgrace. These are organizations that are supposed to be fighting for the right of doctors. I think maybe all the doctors with common sense has left the country. So we are left with those who can't think for themselves. Otherwise, the NMA I used to know under Dr. Bekor and Sonkuti would never have sided with injustice.
Are you going to use the court to contest that position?
Absolutely. I'm not a lawyer. He has a very solid legal team. We are just providing a solid team, as citizens of conscience who are appalled by the continued trial and the violation of Mr. Nnamdi Kanu's rights and those of his organization. That's what we're here to do, because we are all one, all of us who are oppressed in this country.
Does this case, Nnamdi Kanu's case, does it equally now validate the fears in Nigerians that they have no hope in the judiciary?
Yes, I'm in a better position to tell you, because I also get unjustly tried by the Nigerian state through our court system. Just 2 weeks ago, I was in 1 week charged to court for offenses that were not only nebulous, frivolous, but violated even my own personal dignity, and they were done by judges. So this is also a challenge to our judges and the Nigerian judiciary to go back to doing the work of what is just and legal.
Finally, what would you say to those who are nursing the fears that the court has made a decision, the police will go high, and then we shouldn't?
No, there's no decision, let's be very clear, there's no decision from the court not to protest. The only order that was given to the police, which we just saw today, said don't go to Aso Rock and don't go to certain sensitive buildings, according to them. But we have told you the position of the law regarding an ex parte order obtained but not served. You can only activate an opt-out. And the judge was very clear: serve the defendants by Friday, the close of business. Nobody served us. Even though I was at the police station myself. I think I was on the police station on Friday. I wasn't served. I was at the FCT command on Friday. Same day they were obtaining their court order, their fake court order.
No country exists on a foundation of multiculturalism. There is nowhere in the world. Listen to me very carefully. All this nonsense, even the crap that Coca was coming up with, telling you about diversity is our strength and all that rubbish. Allow me to repeat, there is no country on this earth that survives on a foundation or a bedrock of multiculturalism. It doesn't exist. That is why multiculturalism in Africa is dead on arrival. It can never work. Because we are tribal beasts by nature. We are tribal by nature. That is why we travel from wherever we are during New Year's, during Christmas, during Easter, during New Year festival to go back home where we come from. Because that is where we identify with. Now let me ask the US ambassador a very simple question. Is United States of America a multicultural society? US that was created and built by Western Europeans. US was created, should I say, created by God, of course. Built by Western Europeans. Mostly English people that was fed up with the way of life of the English monarchy. They went to America on merry roads. I want to ask the US ambassador, I want to teach Africans what they don't know this evening. There is no country that functions on this multi-ethnic rubbish. Nowhere in the world. Not even the USA, that was created by people who are not indigenous to America. The owners of the soil of America are Native American Indians. That is a fact of life. God gave America to Western Europe to develop and gave them a special grace to be the beacon and the light and the conscience of the world. Because God knew that if he had left all these wonderful people in Europe, they would become contaminated. He removed them from Europe, sent them to America, built a wonderful nation as a shining light and a beacon for the whole world to look up to. Even that America that was built from scratch by people who are not indigenous to the land is not multicultural. Why am I saying this? America was founded on the principles of Judeo-Christian, Greco-Roman, democratic value systems. I repeat, America is not multicultural. They accommodate other races and other nations. Yes, they can accommodate you. But where you're coming into, the bedrock, the foundation of America is based on Judeo-Christian principles, Greco-Roman political ideology, which is republicanism. America is not multicultural. America is Western Europe. The value systems of Western Europe, Judeo-Christian, Greco-Roman, Republican governance. Had America been a multicultural society, they would have space for Sharia. I'm now addressing the US ambassador to try to tell them to stop deceiving people. We are educated, we went to school for a reason. We are enlightened and we have our brain intact. There is no country on this earth that runs on this wishy-washy multiculturalism. It doesn't happen. What you have are established order and value systems upon which various cultures can now coexist. If you go to America, you coexist under the provisions of the United States Constitution. And the US Constitution is a Christian constitution, not Islam. America is not multicultural, but under that bedrock of liberty and egalitarianism, you allow other cultures to come in. But first of all, they must swear allegiance to or take an oath to uphold the Constitution of the USA. That is something that the US ambassador never told the Janjaweed that went to visit her. The same way that Nigeria cannot function as a viable entity. Wole Soyinka knows what I'm talking about. I'm even sure somebody who claims he's learned, as Bishop Coker is, understands what I'm talking about. No country on this earth. The value system of the state of Israel is based on Judaic principles. The value system of Russia is entirely theirs, it's based on theirs. It's a Russian way of doing things from times of the Tsar. If you go to Saudi Arabia, it is essentially a Sharia Islamic state. You can live there, no problem. You can build your churches if you want. I think they've necessarily to allow churches to be built. But it is never a multicultural society. Japan is not a multicultural society. China is not. They can accommodate you. But that doesn't mean they have more. This is the type of nonsense they feed Africans. And we fall for that very gimmick of multiculturalism. At the end of the day, you end up with a useless contraption like Nigeria. You don't have any value system that anybody anywhere can define. If I talk about the USA, I can talk about hamburger in the USA. We can talk about, what else do they have in the USA? Hamburger, you can talk about, what's it called? What are the traditional dishes? Apple pie and all the rest of it. You can say that these are American dishes. If you go to the UK, you can talk about maybe mashed potato and bangers and mash, which is sausage and mashed potato as their national meal. That's understandable. But I ask you, if you come to Nigeria, what is the national dish of Nigeria? Does a Fulani Janjaweed eat ofe egusi, where we come from? Does an Igbo man eat a wedu soup? The answer is no. So on what basis is all this so-called multicultural foundation going to be laid upon? On what? We are not one people. We may be black, we may be Africans, but we're not one people. Not even one religion. If Britain cannot stay in an EU that is entirely Christian, EU is entirely Christian. Britain left. Nigeria, you don't know if Nigeria is Christian or in fact is Islamic. So for me to accept the multiculturalism being preached by the US ambassador, I have to embrace Islam as my religion. That's what it means. And some of you get taken in by all this rubbish. And I feel sorry for you. Yeah, sometimes when I say this, I'm being very arrogant. If you are educated, you will understand that no nation is multicultural. They allow other cultures to come in. It doesn't mean they're multicultural. They have a viable space where multicultural ideas or identities can thrive. But the foundation has to be monolithic. It has to be one dominant value system and ideology. That's how it is all over the world. Don't let anybody fool you otherwise. That is the same reason why you have this anomaly. In a so-called republic, you have royal fathers in a republic. Because you are trying to shuffle multiculturalism. You are trying to marry the feudal system of the North, the monarchical system of the West, and the Republican system in the East, to marry them into one. And what you have is entirely rubbish, and that is why Nigeria can never work. Not now, not tomorrow, not ever. Competing value systems. Nobody wants their own value system to be subsumed under another person's value system. This is something that the US ambassador never told you. But here I am telling you today. Because if you come here, you become educated. If you come here, you become enlightened. If you come here, you stop being a zoo animal, you become a human being. That is why we are